Hello? Is this working? What's up, y'all? I don't know if you can hear me or not. Yeah, looks like you can. Howdy, it's Monday. So Hank Fernhill here, back on Runehammer. I probably won't be seeing a lot of the comments today. I have a major project that I want to just like bang out in a session. So I'm not just doing a recap today. I'm actually in a drawing session. So I probably will be for the next few hours at least. And I thought I might invite you guys along for the ride. It's a pretty fun project because it's the cover for this new sort of, I guess you could call it like OSE type spells and swords kind of I mean, there's a zillion of them, but each one kind of has its own cool character. It's from one of the guys in my community, and it's called Blood and Gold. And he is really cool because I basically just get to do almost whatever I want. I needed like 4 kind of classic classes like characters, and they're fighting skeletons. Those are the only stipulations that I got. So I wanted to kind of get in and just get into drawing in deep. I kind of just in a weird mood with it. I can't play music, on the streams because they get pulled down. But if you want to listen to the soundtrack that's in my head while I'm drawing today, actually, I should get earbuds and just listen to music in my earbuds. But anyway, Stinking Lizaveta. Here, I'll put it in the comments. I just got back from Desert Fest in New York City last night. And this band here in the comments that I just wrote in, Stinking Lizaveta. Terrible band name, pretty hard to remember. I'm sure it means something, but damn, they were shredding. All right, let's hop over to Photoshop. So yeah, here, maybe I don't know if I can tuck Photoshop a little bit. Let me try this. Because I always like to keep an eye on them old comments, We're all people in this world. There I can pretty much see it. Hi. Yeah, I'm using Zoom so that I can do proper screen sharing. So hopefully everybody can. Oh, hey, thanks on the Deathbringer work. Yeah, those die folds are. It's very dense in there, so it takes a certain kind of mindset to get all that stuff packed in there. All right, trucking along. So I actually have a couple of process screenshots here. So is everybody seeing my screen share okay? Is that working out? I'm gonna close this camera because it's distracting. There we go. Yeah, is that working out? I don't do this very often, so I'm a little like, am I doing this right? I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah, could somebody holler? Are you seeing? Oh yeah, there it is. I see it. Okay, cool. So this was the very first 10 minutes of the sketch, and just basically slamming out the shapes that I was thinking and kind of who these characters are. And then kind of got into a little further here. This is the next sort of screenshot of progress. And then here's where I am right now. So we don't need these layers, get those out of here. So here's where I am. I'm basically just filling in the goodness. And I'm also sort of trying, I'm flipping it up a little bit. I'm kind of getting into a little more like, I guess you could just call it sheer drawing sort of style. Just, getting in with a micron style pen, no kind of brushes, no color yet, just pure, just drawing, it's just kind of a thing I've been getting into. So yeah, doing this cover. So that's why you see this layout, right? The spine is going to be here in the middle of the image, spine of the book. So this is the front cover over here. I also need to do some title lettering on this piece. I love doing lettering. It's so freaking fun. So maybe I'll get into that as well today. But, sometimes I just like to, kind of just open up the doors, old Runehammer here. And let y'all in a little bit. But yeah, definitely check that band out. Oh my God, they shred so hard. So badass. And like some bands too, they kind of sound exactly like the recording or whatever, and you kind of just like, oh yeah, that. But then other bands like live, it's just like transcendent, and maybe their recordings, aren't the best out that they're out there, but or vice versa. Like you have a band that's really dope with their recordings, and then live, you're like, oh man, why do I listen to these guys? But yeah, they blew my mind. So yeah, just kind of not worrying about texture and color really at all. Just thinking about line work, which is not something that I've been doing recently. And I'm not sure why, but I kind of want to delve back into it a little bit. My biggest inspiration and influence, of course, with this kind of stuff is the incomparable Wayne Reynolds. His pencil work is just so stinking fresh. So anyways, this is what I'm doing today. Got to make a living somehow, right? So it's kind of part like drawing and adding a little bit of surface here and there, but then I'm also kind of inking at the same time. So you'll see I'm kind of bringing some forms into more solidity with heavier lines, like right there, And so I'm kind of doing pencil and ink at the same time, which is sort of my thing. I think you can get a lot more precise results when you do pencil and ink separate. But sometimes I find that precision kind of robs the piece of its life. Like a lot of these little lines here, you can see they're kind of flying willy-nilly and cattywampus, right? Just like crossing each other and not really representing 3D forms and stuff, but they just give life to the piece. You can feel the speed of the illustrator sometimes in the lines like that. And I dig that. That's my shit. You know what I'm saying? So here's this cleric in the middle, and of course she's got this kind of like almost, Avatarian kind of face. Avatarian is not a word. That I know for certain. I often do face tattoos on clerics. I don't know. She's already so like Grace Slickish. I'm not sure if that's needed. Yeah, and I'll try to glance over at the comments here every once in a while. Hey, what's up, Emiliano? Yeah, well, if this is reminiscent of Wayne Reynolds in any way, then I am doing great. So thank you. That is the goal. Like, I really like how Wayne Reynolds just leaves sort of like nothing is neglected in his work. It's just like every little aspect of the piece is just a little bespoke corner of his universe. So you can see how this isn't really the style that I do most times. I do a really bombastic kind of color style a lot of times. But I want to make sure that these little drawing skills aren't getting too rusty. So yeah, the show last night was completely insane. It was High Reaper, Big Business, High on Fire, Stinking Lizabeta, who I think rocked the show the hardest. Telekinetic Yeti. Yeah, it was basically just an afternoon and a night of heavy metal insanity. We did have a bit of a short session for session 2 in Hardsuit, so it'll be a short recap when I get around to that. And so we're looking at maybe doing a bonus session this Wednesday, so then I would be able to recap 2 sessions at once. a lot of my players all work at the same place, and they had like a crazy like work field trip where they all got blasted. So they're all pretty run down by the time we got to the session the next night. So it was kind of came up short. Just over 3 hours, which for us is a very short session. Now, as you can see, like a lot of my base drawing is kind of done. I don't have a lot of like, except for all these skeletons over here, I don't have a lot of just forms that I haven't even started yet. So that's why you kind of get into this more inking mindset. Like I know I got this guy in this big steel cuirass, and I just need to fill that in, you know, make it make sense. For me, really, in the first maybe half an hour, even of like a 5-hour piece, I will have most of what I need. It happens really quick in the beginning, and then it's just a long, slow process of making it not crap. Hopefully. You never know. That's one of the crazy things about art. You just never know when it's just going to be downright awful. It happens too. You got to be spiritually prepared for those moments when your art just sucks. Yeah, High Reaper also shredded last night. They were getting in some deep chunga. Really nice. And I know a ton of people are crazy about High on Fire, but I couldn't quite figure them out. I was a little stumped by that band. I wasn't sure how to feel. I'm a big chunga guy, so as long as there's chunga, and we're like, you know, headbanging basically, then I know what to do. Hey, what's up, Alex? Nice you could come hang out live. Here, I'll try to get where I can't quite see the comments here. There we go. Okay. Yeah, everything that Wayne, yeah. Probably talked about this before. Let me cram down my Photoshop window just a little more. There we go. What are my drawing tools? Oh, I use a Cintiq 23 HD, and right now I'm using Photoshop just with an oval hard brush. No fancy stuff, just drawing. It's kind of how I use ZBrush as well. Like, really don't use the tools that ZBrush has available. I'm just such a simplist when it comes to tools. I kind of follow the philosophy of like, use a simple tool set, but like work that tool set. Like if you're going to have a micron pen, you know, master the micron pen. You don't necessarily need 15 different kinds of pens. If you can just get the drawing ability to show up and just rely on just hand skill, and then work that hand skill with that simple tool over and over, and that's kind of my jam. But like complex tools are also really cool, so you know, rock on. It's a big world. There's room for everybody. But yeah, this is the commission for the Blood and Gold book, so keep an eye out for that. When it comes out here eventually, it will have this kick-ass cover on it. This cover, I think, is going to have a little bit of the tone of like my Vecna DM screen. That was also just like really just about drawing. I just wanted to take a black pen and just go to town. So he's got this kind of crazy, weird shaped skull shield. You gotta love skull shields. I mean, come on. Skull shields are great. get his tassets figured out. Tassets are like those sort of dangly jointed plates that hang on your hips. Hey, thanks, Hunter. Appreciate that. You need that deep chunga, man. You get that chunga going, it like kind of resets your brain a little bit. Takes you back to your primal roots in the distant time when the chunga was mighty. There we go, getting his metal abs kind of a little more filled in, and he's got little dents and scratches all over this armor. I've got stray lines like flying everywhere. I don't even know what they are, but I'm just not worried about it. There's a lot of energy in the piece. Just gonna keep working the piece and let it be. Got to resist that urge to zoom in all the time too. Sometimes it can give you a false sense of like how much detail you need to do. Yeah, Alberon, I try to kind of mix up when I do streams so that I can catch different folks around the globe. So it's been a lot of growth in the Runehammer community in the last 6 months, thanks to Modifius and other kind people on YouTube, like Professor Dungeon Master and I don't know, Bob the World Builder. There's the Superior Adventurers League. I don't want to get into a full-on shout-out fest because I know I'll forget a few people, but getting some really nice mentions from good creative folks out in the world. A great one, I don't know if you guys saw it, but on Games Radar last week had a crazy epic article that listed like the best 11 RPGs that are out there right now. And I was number 2 on the freaking list after D&D. Like, what? Games Radar is not a small site either. That's like, it's kind of crazy. I think 14-year-old me would basically, my head would explode. My brain would just melt instantly if I knew this was going to be the path that I would be on. Yeah, Alberon, I think you will be seeing Spanish ICRPG. It'll also be in Portuguese. Yeah, it's kind of getting out there. The localizations take quite some time to get done, so you really got to be patient on those buggers. How did I come up with the composition? I kind of did. No, I don't really do a blob. I kind of do a gesture. So I kind of did like this. Like that's sort of the first inkling that I had, and then I basically drew circles for the heads because I really wanted to do, one thing I've learned too about Wayne Reynolds that I just love is you don't always have to do like a full body piece to get a lot of character going. And that's kind of what I got going on with my cool thief down here. He's sort of a different ilk, he's not, and Wayne Reynolds is really great at this too, in that he kind of has like little cultures kind of built into his work, like these implied cultures. I guess what an anthropologist would call material culture, right? It's like your culture is visible in the stuff you have and the clothes you wear and stuff like that. And so he would like imply this stuff, not just by, doing mixed ethnicities and stuff too, which is also super cool in your art, surprising sort of roles, right? So that you have a diverse cast in your movie, so to speak. But he would also just have these odd, clothing and equipment from faraway lands. I love that stuff. And I really do like the diversity of the people in his work too. It's really, really cool. Am I being woke right now? Yeah, Brahm is also super, super dope. Brahm is just timeless. So yeah, I was gonna, for the decoration that this guy has on his cloak, maybe it's like a cloak of eyes or something, but I was doing these little kind of nested circles. Not sure where that's headed or what that's about, but it's a thing. Going to be doing some band portraits coming up in June. I did the one for Heavy Temple, and I'm so happy with it and so proud of it that I want to do a little series. See if I can do a gallery show this summer with these kind of like neon band portraits. I didn't want like all four of my characters like just totally engaged in like insane kinetic combat, like where they're all screaming, you know, and they're all like following through on a weapon swing and stuff like that. It's kind of a common theme. I just wanted one of them to be doing that, so I just have the wizard. Like he's the only one that's actively engaging in this instant in time. Like the encounter is like just now breaking, sort of, is what I was imagining. So like this rogue is like sort of getting ready for what he's about to do. He's got a held action because he's a rogue. A thief. Sorry, Dan. Professor Dungeon Master hates the term rogue because he thinks it's a watered down word for thief. I think thief maybe was a little, can be difficult for some people to play. It's like, so what, am I just stealing stuff? That's my whole thing, because the word thief is just so one-dimensional. Hey, Ungie Bung. Thanks, man. My buddy said you'll be able to do my Curse of Strahd group. Yes, that is in my list. Yeah. Yeah, what do you think, Chris? Should I do kind of this style? Yeah, Nacho, that is so true. So true. Everybody's battling the skeletons, and the thief is looking at a piece of treasure down there. So if I just zone out and I'm just drawing, I apologize, but that's welcome to the life of a professional artist. This is a silhouette of a skeletal hand that's in the foreground here, reaching for my rogue, my thief. Damn it. You don't even have a rope. Two fools who laugh at death. Do you know what horrors lie behind that wall? No. Conan's all dopey in that scene. I guess it's because they're high, right? They're totally high on Black Lotus in that scene, so it would make sense. Get me in contact with the Portuguese. I have the whole player's guide and game out translated. Oh, that's crazy. I'd have to dig through some emails. I don't know off the top of my noodle. Big Business was pretty cool too. Their drummer was psycho awesome. Kind of like Like a little nerd dude who's like just shredding back there. I really, really dig the drumming in metal. You know, not just like double bass kind of stuff, you know, but like, I don't know, I guess you call it like polyrhythm type stuff, right? Where it's like throughout a song, you have multiple beats and rhythms and patterns, and all kinds of different stuff going on because it's metal. And like a drummer is like such a integral part of that. The growth of the chunga. See there, he's starting to get pretty solid, right? Something's a little off with this finger down here. This finger's too big. Chutney's too quiet. I don't know what what Chutney's getting into. There we go. See, sometimes the hand, you don't really see the fingers or the knuckles, especially, you know, when you're wearing gloves and stuff like that. It kind of hands just become, you know, sort of like lumpy blobs sometimes. But if you just trust the gesture when you're drawing, you're like, don't, at least for me, not worry too much about like drawing specific anatomy. In my new book manifesto, I do have a sort of like a how to not draw section. Kind of talks about my drawing method, how I learned, and how it's probably the worst way to, to be an artist that there is. So this guy has like crazy patterns on his robe that I haven't fully figured out yet. Almost like a Trigun or something, like Trigun's weird coat, you know? I don't want to get too on the nose with it, so it's just concentric lines. They need to cross each other every once in a while. Concentric lines can start looking like a topographic map or something. Cool, man. That finger's thick. Yeah, that is not as thick as these. Look at these bad boys right here. Them chunky glove fingers. Hands are really just jump fleshy lump potatoes with sausages sticking out. Yeah, to me, hands are like, as far as drawing, it's like a sort of like a bar of soap is what I always see. And, you know, look at all this craziness in here. I have like extra lines and weird stuff going on. I'm like breaking all these rules and everything. Is this finger where it should be? Probably not. But I think a lot of that oddity is what becomes energy in the piece. Oh, wait, I'm getting into, I don't think her insignia can be like this. She needs a more religious kind of insignia. Like a crusader kind of. Whereas he gets the spirals and the weird stuff. I guess now there's no mistaking where you're going to be getting your heels from here. There we go. Almost like a Union Jack kind of pattern. Okay, now back to him. Now he can have all the spirals I want to give him without impeding on her style. Yeah, as far as Runehammer news, there's a hardback copy of the Mud trilogy coming to Amazon. Sales are going really great with the Modifius book. It's getting a little easier to find now. It's kind of getting out to a lot of smaller retailers. both online as well as local game store kind of stuff. So you should start to have an easier time. Also, Modifius is now stocking Amazon with Master Edition. But last time I announced that, Amazon sold out in like under 2 minutes. So the rapid sellout has been my #1 problem. It's like, just keeps selling through its inventory like way too quickly. So, I mean, that's a good thing. Good problem to have. Okay, here's where his cloak is coming down. And I think his cloak needs like a black sort of edging or something here, because I don't know, it just does. Don't ask me why. Just the energy of the piece needs a strong black flow line right here. But see, this guy, the piece is crazy because he's got his near hand like his left elbow is bent at a sharp angle, crossing over his right arm, which is extended behind it. It's kind of not that common of a situation as far as posing goes. All right, get some little teeth on the end of this staff. Yeah, looking cool. That's dope. Love a good simple mage staff like that, you know, just with a round gem on the end. Doesn't have to be all crazy. Got like a little onyx sphere here. Dope. Dope. Is he making an arcane sign? It kind of looks like it, but I imagine that he was just in a power pose. But yeah, you mean like it's like that? We can do that. Let's clean up some of these strays here. And we'll put this here as a guide, and we'll get back to that later and fill it in with some crazy Doctor Strange stuff. She also has one going. She's got a little turn undead spell going here. And you've got to have your inevitable dude with too much armor and a horned helmet, and you never see his face and all that stuff. It's just, you know, it's meat and taters when it comes to D&D. It's just meat and taters. Yeah, I know these streams may not be as pulse pounding as the recaps, but I don't know if it's always been a part of my John on YouTube. Kind of just sharing the process. Whoa, what is going on with this coffee? Oh, I figured it out. It's delicious. Her armor is cool. I'm digging this. She's got a bit of a segmentata thing going on here. I don't like these little seams though. Those don't look right. They look a little too spacey. Just give her simple seams, this little laces on them. Don't downplay the stream. Oh, okay. Well, then rock on. The epitome of masculinity covered in steel plate. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun wearing too much plate armor in D&D. Hell yeah. Having big badass two-handed swords and stuff. Sick. I'm not a big chainmail bikini guy though. I feel that's a little dated to me. The age of the chainmail bikini has come and gone. I think we can leave that. We can put a pin in that one for now. It's not that it's not cool. It's just a little dated. All right, so here's the sort of jaw on the skull shield. For some reason, I'm distracted with it right now. Cleaning up these teeth and whatnot. Yeah, and it's a really strange, at least I think, design for a shield. And that was the very first thing that I drew. So I don't know if that's informational in some way, but yeah, I just basically drew a few curved lines, didn't know what they were, and they became this shield. And then I was just like, oh, fuck, that's sick. Let's do a piece. Feeling it. Remember, you're going to hear F-bombs because this show is not for children. YouTube wants that to be abundantly clear. Oh, wait, wrong side. I got to remember that I have a torch right here, so there's a little bit of light sourcing on some of my shadows. I don't really do lighting per se, but if you really directly defy proper lighting, it always looks a little strange. Let me update these holes on his helmet. There's little breathy holes. Or are they googly eyes that have been pasted onto the helmet? I don't know. Only time will tell. And he's got his little Koopa bracer here. Koopa fan 666 is his Fortnite username. I think my cat is trying to get in. Sword isn't quite vertical, so there we go. I kind of like too, the sword makes a really nice, kind of hard crop. It like with authority goes off the edge of the image, which feels really good. It's a decisive tangent break, I guess you would say. Yeah, Guts. Yeah, I watched a lot of Guts. I also played the games back in the day. I don't know if they're still making those. I don't want too many little wraps on this blade. I think this hilt is more like this, like it's carved wood kind of John going on there. These muscles are a mess. I got to work on these muscles. Just a bunch of random curved lines that aren't really adding up to anything. There we go. It's just less is more when it comes to that. So you get a much cleaner sense of what's going on there. And then we have these Koopa straps, all these little thingies going on. So that's a little bit, what I normally just don't do in my work, but I'm kind of getting into it. Little thingies, details and whatnot, so on and so forth. I like clean blade better because it's such an authoritative shape at the top of the image. I think it just keep that blade nice and clean. Well, there we go. Look at that. That feels like progress, doesn't it? Okay, hang on. My cat has to come in. Ridiculous. Be right back. And we're back here on Runehammer Drawing Television. Internet entertainment for those who are relaxing at home. We are drawing the cover, front and back, wraparound design for a new old school style D&D book called Blood and Gold. And that's what's up. Yes, Tilly, the whole world cares about your cat needs. Cat's in a weird mood today. Cool. Wow, that gets a lot of dimension just when you add a little bit of black. Yeah, this will be in color. No, I don't like any of that stuff, Daniel. That's not really for me. I find it almost impossible to role play those things. Really, the whole trend in D&D of, like, you know, not kind of crazy non-human things with all these kind of. I'm like a cat person who's a warlock who's also a cleric and all this stuff. I just don't know how people role play it. I just like, what's the voice? It's hard enough to role play just like I'm a person, like I'm a farmer, much less with all that other stuff. Internet entertainment for the discerning RPG enthusiast. Now you probably can feel like, dang, Hankrin, you're going slow, bro. And I kind of am, yeah. I think that's sort of the joy here. Slow down a little bit. Get into the line work. Settle into it. Looks like I have some accidental, not quite pure black ink here and there in the image. That happens sometimes. Like, just because I'm such a hasty color grabber, I'll accidentally grab a gray pixel instead of a perfect black pixel. And I won't notice for hours. So one thing you can do to fix that problem is use a non-contiguous black selection. And do that. But we're not going to do that quite yet. You can also just bump the contrast on your image using a good old legacy contrast. And you can kind of blackify it that way. The reason I can't just fill the whole image, the line work with black, is because I also use white as an eraser. So now you can see, like, there, that crispified it into a really crunchy black. I would agree with that, Atsu, back in the day a little bit. But nowadays, there's so many crazy things going on. I don't think you do stand out when you make a character like that. I think it's a bit of an eye roller. But I know that people are out there who like that stuff. So I don't want to bag on them, rock on. There are a great many things in this world that aren't my favorite things, but that doesn't mean they can't be somebody else's favorite thing. I say everybody have a good time. But in turn, I don't want to be told whether my shit's, if somebody has some kind of weird opinions about how I'm liking my fun. So I've done a great deal of work to try to figure out a solution to relativism. the relativism that we experience so much in daily life nowadays. But I don't think there is one. I think that we've become relativist because the world is more diverse. You know, the world's getting a little too complicated for me to just tell you, you know, force my truth on you. So, you know, I mean, there are some things that are just totally aggravating that another person can be into or be doing or something that it impedes on me in some way or is bringing me down in some way. And in that case, then I think I should be able to straight up eye poke them, call them a nasty name and give them a poke in the eyeball. That is so crazy, Eric. I mean, I don't play 5e, so I don't know, but even our non-human characters are pretty much just humans. I mean, we play a lot of humans. But you know, if you're into playing Tabaxi and Kenku and all that stuff, you know, fucking go for it. Why not? Sick. That shield is really fun. I don't know what hellish dungeon it's from or how they got a hold of such a thing, but digging the design. A little battle damage on it there. Get back into the tacits here. Yeah, and I'm trying not to really think of this so much as like, you know, drawing how to either. This is just me drawing. I'm really trying to ease back on the how to advice kind of concept. How to do things and how this and how that. Lately, I've just been much more just like, hey, here's my shit. What's the word for that? Oh yeah, lazy. I've got to be the laziest YouTuber out there, I tell you. See, man, everybody's getting such great production value these days with their videos. It's all these funny little, you know, shortcut edits, and everybody has one of those stinking ring light things that make you look all good, and their cameras are all high res and stuff. I just got my webcam over here. Screwed that up. There we go. Kind of has like almost like a brick pattern on this piece of fabric here. It's like the piece that's underneath these flowy bits, like plant cells or something. Spicy cashews and icy coffee. Dolomite. Yeah, I cannot, I don't know how I would play, unless it was just like straight up comedy factor or something. I don't know how I play, you know, a Kenku or a Tiefling or a Dragonborn. Dragonborn are the silliest because I really think it's hard to visualize standing there talking to a 6'5" person with a scaly dragon head. Like, come on, man. It's just so muppety. It's just really hard for me to get excited about that. All right, so we need this little the pith. What is it called? The meat of the hand. It's like that grippy part by your thumb. I don't think it's called a pith. That's just silly. Great. We're looking good. Check it out. I have this kind of weird, there's a weird dead zone right here. I'm not sure why I didn't fill that in. I'm going to get too many clothy lines going all at the same time. So I think she's going to need some more structure. See that? I've got some kind of weird, there's some weird tangency going on right there. Like psychedelic shapes flowing into each other. We don't want that. So we're going to curl these around here like that. And then she's going to need like some structure here. Yeah, like that. So I just did a little too much of this piece. And now these thigh protectors, these thigh plates need to come in. Just because it was feeling like the structure in there just didn't feel right. So now I can do, just with that one plate, now I can do these plant cell things with a bit more fervor, a bit more certainty. See that? You can kind of get bigger with the design too. And then what's her sign? Oh yeah, it's the Union Jack thing. And then we'll bring it in like that, the shading on the Union Jack. There. And that just breaks that little area up and lets you kind of slide down into the road. The thief, sorry. Nacho Daddy, being silly. Do we have control over our will? You mean like what I think? I think we have control of our will, but our fate is fixed. Now, that seems like a paradox. Like if you're paying attention, that should seem like really a paradoxical thing to say. But I think that paradox is the thing that we can sort of never know about how things work. How can it be that we have our own will, but that our fates are fixed? And, you know, I guess if you want to be pretty dry about it, you could say something weird about like determinism. You know, once the particles were all set in motion, every decision you were ever going to make was set. It's all a deterministic system, blah, 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 blah. But I think that's just really far from complex enough. The universe got some crazy shit going on. And especially if you want to get into something heavy, like how can there be a fixed fate and yet free will? I don't think science is going to help you out with that. Science isn't going to show up for that club meeting. All right, so whoop, whoop, there we go. Whoop. So I'm kind of curious, what is going on in this background? Can we fuck with it? Let's fuck with this background a little bit. Get a little bit bigger marker. Like, are these guys like that? Are they like silhouettes? Or are they white against darkness? I think neither. I think since we're doing color, let's not just get into like sheer chiaroscuro kind of stuff. Jordan B. Yeah, for reasons I may never fully understand, you know, this sort of the Norse concept of the skeen or skine, I'm not sure how you say it, but you know, it is a thread of fate, and you have a destined point, which will be your ending, and everything you do will just take you to that ending. You will not. There is no not you part. There's no part that doesn't fit. It all fits. You know, it's like the old Viking saying, "You can hide in a hole if you want, but it won't change your fate." Let's see. I'm just constantly distracted by these characters. I'm trying to get into this background, and I'm just like, oh, hey, look, I'll work on this hand. I just sort of float around pieces. I can't really just do a pure focus session on a certain area without starting to wander. That's just me, baby. That's just how I do. Blast him with the onyx staff. So I need to do the blast as well, right? So it's happening right over here. He's blasting this skeleton. And like blowing the teeth out of this thing. The jaw is kind of over here, like sideways. That's fun. Got like accidental devil horns here for some weird reason. I don't know how that happened. The little strings are too corny. Huh. I was not, Eric. I was not. I have been going, you know, getting a lot into my color sets lately. I don't know if I can just do one right off the top of my head, but I can kind of try. So here's what I'll do. Put a blob down. Put a blob down. That's going to be two. It must be over here. Now, what instinct is driving this color set? I could not tell you. I just see a comment and I just do my best, you know. So let's say that that's my palette. just for shits and grins. So again, you know me, I'm pretty chaotic with things. So just do that. Maybe we got like this going on over here. Oh, come on. Don't be cantankerous with me now. All right. And then I got this sort of teal color, which is like the dungeon. And then, oops. And then I got that yellow color. So I'm just going to make up a new yellow. I know it was a slightly pale yellow like that. And then that's the color of this like magical blast. So there's my color. I'm not really digging the lipstick color. So what I'll do is I'll just fuck with it basically. So I'm just kind of, you know, what am I working with here? This is kind of, I like where these aquatic colors are going. All right, those are kind of like undergroundy colors too. And then you can just do this, and now here's how the magic happens. And you just get yourself a nice big fatty marker, and just don't leave any gaps. It's a good way to get started. Well, again, I'm not qualified to be an instructor. It's just it's a voice that I just take on as I'm working. It's like Bruce Lee, you know, he used to say he just talks as if he's the instructor, even if he's totally not. He just has a voice that's like an inner teacher. There you go. So see how I'm kind of doing that. Kind of my thinking on this one. So he's got like this, and then he's got this, and this thing's blasting. All right, this is not glowing. So there you can kind of see the very beginnings of a concept. What's that? Oh, Soren, what's up? This is the cover for a new OSR book that's coming out called Blood and Gold. Now, is that my color set? I don't freaking know. It's just an idea. Like, is this a hole back here, this purple thing? Is this like a hole? I think it's like a tunnel, right? So it is a hole. Fuck it, let's commit. It's my universe, I can do anything. Look at that, it's getting dark in the hole. And then, oh man, it's getting even darker in the hole. Scary. There we go. So there's like some kind of flipping tunnel back there. And now this back surface, this back wall wants to be a color that's between my purple and my teal. And a way to do in between colors is to do this. You do like a half opacity. He's probably seen me do that before. And there, so that's exactly half of my purple and half of my teal. Now I don't want to get into like soft airbrushy type rendering, because that's just not what I'm thinking for this. But these are some fun colors. These remind me of like the 3-dye-6 colors with the little bug people. I don't know if you guys have seen that little book that came out. Yeah, I just have my color as multiply. You can also just set your ink layer as multiply if you want, and put your color underneath, you know, whatever, tit for tat on that one. So in time, I'm probably going to want to take this torch and, you know, do some of this corny stuff. Everybody loves like little rim lighting kind of stuff, right? You know, rim lighting can be a little cheesy, but it's definitely like something that we're just so used to in concept art that you're just used to seeing it. Like he's illuminated by his spell, right? This kind of stuff. And this is just how I would then just, you know, kind of start working through it. Mike T, yes, you're up next after this one. You know, Rye Bread, I did set out to do a graphic novel, and I just found myself unable to do it to the quality that I need to be excited about something. It's just so many drawings of the same things, of the same people. And then, but that's not it. That's a false complaint. It was like I was looking at other graphic novels and just the way that they would play with distance and perspective and size and composition, everything was just so brilliant and interesting. I just wasn't doing those things. You know, now can I learn in time and all that stuff? Sure. But the graphic novel as a, you know, as a medium, as a milieu, you know, was just not quite capturing me. I'm totally like an RPG head. I just can't, I just dig on the RPG shit, man. And then there's some too that's different, you know, like, you know, in a graphic novel or in a comic book, its sort of value is kind of just intrinsic and just, you know, looking at it and reading it. But in RPGs, there's always this other piece. The other piece being, you know, the playing that's going to happen, the actual game that's going to happen, not just the assets, you know. Negative energy. You don't need it in your life. So anyways, that was just a brief delving into color. So we'll just let that rest. There we go. Now, I've been putting it off a great deal. I have to do the skeletons. And look, instantly procrastinates. That was hilarious. Instantly moves over and does something else. And if I'm a little stuffed today, last week was like allergy apocalypse. I don't know if you guys had it wherever you may live, but like all the trees in Philly all bloomed at the exact same time. And it was just the pollen apocalypse happened. It was insane. And I don't think he's in an action pose. I don't think he's like finishing stabbing something. He's in a more dormant moment of time here. He's like looking at something, thinking. So I don't want to put a bunch of like flying particles and like, you know, action swooshes and stuff. I do love this guy's hair though. It's wicked rad. Yeah, I was a concept artist in video games for many years. Many, many years. A wonderful life filled with wonderful people doing cool shit. It's not easy, I'll tell you that, but got a lot of ups and downs, but met some great friends. I don't even know if these like little slats down here are like the beard of the shield or what, but are they just the shapes that need to be there? That's all I know. He has like an amulet on too, which is kind of rare in a fighter. I don't really normally portray fighters with jewelry on. He's cool though, man. He's a really different, really rooting myself on here. So I think that's the bottom of his sort of armor skirt. And now things need to get more vague in here because there's just too much detail getting packed in. Give that shield a horn. Well, then would it be that useful as a shield, though? That's pretty cool. How about just some little ones like that? He's definitely got like the Dark Knight thing going, huh? Damn it, Keith. Still not drawing skeleton. I don't want to draw skeletons getting blasted. Stupid skeletons. All right, let's get into it. Still not drawing skeleton. That's great. Love it. Stupid ass skeletons. And again, like people who can quote unquote draw correctly have got to just be like cringing so bad at how I'm doing this right now. Like there is no appropriate skeleton anatomy of any kind or sort. This fool's just drawing bone shapes, you know what I mean? There's some kinetic impact there. I will not put a skull in the shield. Oh, a dent in the shape of a head. That's just silly. All right, there's where the spine goes on down. There's some crazy shit going on here. I don't want to get these solid. Now, this guy might wind up being part or mostly silhouette, but we're going to do that with color. So you can't just do silhouette on the ink layer. You need to draw like everything. It's a pain in the butt. And then the color layer will do the silhouetting, if any. And this just gives me a lot more options down the line. Nice. Kinetic. It looks like it's time to do some drawing. Don't look at my bum looker. Don't. Butchering people's songs is my bullshit. Beatboxing. That's the drummer. It's the drummer man. The drum beater. The rhythm keeper. The drummer. Tilly. Tilly is a cat, and therefore has no responsibilities. Killer. That little white line did a lot of work. Dope. Feeling that wizard is like, I can feel him inside that robe. That is a nice feeling. Another thing, I could list the things I like about Wayne Reynolds all day, but another thing I love is like how he just will just have fun with shapes of garments without really worrying about the body. You know, all too often when you're drawing people, you're worried about like, well, there's a human body under there, so I need to draw biceps and I need to draw forearm muscles, and then there's a shoulder bump and all that kind of stuff. But so much of our lives, we do not dress that way. We don't dress where you can see our entire body contour. That'd be crazy. That'd be like wearing like a yoga body suit on the reg. Nobody do that. I mean, I guess the ladies are wearing the yoga pants a lot these days, but not like a jumpsuit. There we go. I really like too how the thief cloak is like undecorated next to the wizard cape, so you get that contrast there of density. There's just a dense layer. For some reason, I keep getting a bunch of grounds in my coffee. I think my filter is folding. I need more performance. You want to talk about interesting stuff on YouTube? Let's talk about how I make coffee. Got some fun items are going to be coming up on the long talked about and finally almost here Runehammer store. So the Runehammer store will really only deal in like sort of timed short run items. So, you know, maybe do an idea for a thing and it'll be kind of around for, you know, a small amount of stock, and then it'll disappear, and then we'll move on and try something else instead of just selling, you know, one t-shirt for the rest of time. I kind of want to, you know, play around and make some different cool goodies. I've been talking about it for basically forever, but it is finally coming together thanks to the help of some good folks. My man Jeremy, where you at? Not in this stream, he says. Is this going to be a stand-up drawing, sir, or another bug hunt? I don't know what is going on with this dumb hair, but it's going on. That is not hair there. That is into his belt. So I think we need some shading back here to get her to pop like that. There we go. Now she can have some little stray white hairlines here. Do another one of these hard-working white lines that basically separate objects from a distance like that. Oh my God, I'm still not drawing the skeletons. Another thing that could be fun would be like a neon type effect. Oops. I don't know if I'd want that to be the setup, but that's kind of interesting. Something I've been playing with a lot lately has been neon stuff. But then there's also the joy of like low saturation. I think for fantasy, low saturation is a lot more what people expect. Hey Vasquez, anyone ever mistake you for a man? No. Have you ever been mistaken for a man? No. Have you? Yeah, you know, the whole Runehammer store thing, the reason it's taken me so long to do it is I'm not really that interested in like, you know, making a sort of a living, you know, like selling things to people. As far, you know, as far as like merch, like just the word merch doesn't get me particularly excited to jump out of bed in the morning. But what I've learned is that it's more just about people wanting stuff. You know, it's not about like how much revenue can this make, and you know, is it really viable to sell t-shirts for revenue and stuff like that. I think just there's peeps out there who want stuff, and enough of them where I can't just do, you know, one-offs, you know, gifty boxes. I tried that, and it's, I mean, I would just be doing gift boxes for the end of time for the number of people that either want or deserve gifty boxes. So, damn it, I'm still not doing the skeletons. This is appalling. Fucking skeletons. I'm gonna F-bomb this bitch. All right, so let's do a couple skeletons. Here we go. Let's party. The little gesture sketch I did for these is they're pretty funny. I know in my head what it's supposed to mean, but it just doesn't look, looks more like a sort of a caveman or something. I'm not sure. There we go. See, this is, I wanted this to be a Slimpy skeleton, and he's like, raw, he's doing that classic kind of Wolverine pose where you have your hands out. There we go. Now you're seeing it. Now you can see it. Ribs, 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 ribs. And there's the xiphoid process. Ha, fun. So is he coming up over a little rise there? Is there a little piece of terrain here? Nah, I think we need some legs and we need some running. And I need to do like, I don't know, 3 or 4 of them. What would make the skeletons cool to draw? Discipline. That's what. Not everything is cake. Some things aren't cake. And since we're adults, we eat things that aren't cake. It's discipline. Zoning out, drawing sloppy skeletons in the background. Because I'm an adult and I like to eat cake. We'll have to feed the dog before too long. Wow, it's 1:44 already? That's nutso. When did I come on? Like 12:30? Oh God, the 100 skull challenge, man. That's one of my first videos. That is definitely season 1 of the Runehammer show. This one's particularly agitated. Ah, I'm jumping. So agitated. Ribs, 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 ribs. And the xiphoid process. That's fun. Have fool jump it. The way Hankrin said the Durgar mine in that old room design is the way I've said it. My wife hears me just blurting it out for no reason. Skin and muscles. Whoa, Eric Bloat up in the spot. What's up, my man? What's up, my man? I got a little bit of a tangent problem here with this guy's legs. I don't want to tangle those two things up. That's better. Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Make sure they play lots of bone crunching din. Mama, make sure your babies play 4th edition. Because it's got the clearest breakdown of the mechanical dynamics that make the game. We'll never understand why 4th edition was considered a doo-doo. I'm coming! I'm sort of run jumping. I'm skipping with skeletal evil glee. These skeletons got like some Spanish moss on them or some shit. Goat's beard. Killer. So there need to be more, like a crowd of them right here, right? Coming out of the hole. So there's a crowd there. Crowd. Something like that. Like there's an infinite supply of skeletons here, and that's how they're gonna enter the scene. And this is not architecture. I think these are just we got a good old fashioned cavern dwell going. Gavin Well, I can't talk the language of the English people. Cavern dwelling adventure. Why not, right? This is classic shit. Plus, I don't think with all this detail that this piece can handle like even more detail back in the back. It needs to let up on some nice natural shapes. Give you some relief. There we go. So if that's what it do, and now he's into cave there. Don't let your babies grow up to be skeletons. How come them skellies are running out of that hole? Cool. Definitely liking the green here. I don't think this color palette is right because Blood and Gold is the title here, and I think it's like a little more rustic. So let's do a little distraction with some color. Like I need like more red componentry in here. This is just not red enough. Like actually that's getting into that beige is nice. Because it's just got a little more red to it. And then I think these purple colors, for the sake of not going completely, after developing all those nice colors, pretty much going to bag them for a second. There we go. Feeling that a little more. And then I just need to now, like, obviously push things into the back, right? So kind of get some rough selections here. And let's push these colors back to form some layering in the rocks. And you know, it's more fun to have like a misty backdrop. So if that's the case, this mid-ground layer here is my first step. It's actually going to get darker. right? And then it just has a shortcut. Like the light's going to be coming out of there. Sometimes I'll do this as a shortcut to create colors. It's just it's a corny tool, but it's like really quick to show you what some more advanced colors would look like. Like that's cool. Okay, so and we'll get in here with a marker and separate it all up. But see, and then also then you kind of warm this part up, right? So now that we have that more dynamic color feel, that's getting there. That's cool. Blankmar green. I think 4th edition had a lot going for it. The bloodied rule is really great. Honestly, one of the tidiest ways to do that kind of design task ever is bloodied. Huge fan of bloodied. That was a stroke of genius that really can be used in lots of games too. Like very versatile rule you can use in whatever you may play. Let's see if we can get some color on these E-tones. So see, after just using that visualization tool, I kind of am starting to get some nice color nuance here. Not just one single fill of exactly the same color. So let's take this dude, take that color, whiteify it, sort of, kind of go over here. See, I don't need like pure white, just I need a sort of white that comes from the same family as the teal. And later this is going to look a little funky for the moment, but it'll work out. You will see. All right. I think we need red in this piece, and this is where it's going to be. I'm a big Raceland guy. I've been doing magic users inspired by Raceland ever since Dragonlance days. It's a very simple character concept, but with a relatively potent sort of gimmick to it, which is the frail wizard gimmick. There's that red I'm looking for. Yeah, that's dope. Skeletons don't dream. They lack ambition. Challenges, yep, totally agree. Minions, yes. What drawing tablet do you use? I use a Cintiq 23 HD. Yeah, you could probably do several really good, high-performing, clickbaity videos on the topic of 4th edition and why it failed. Or did it fail, or is it just a whipping boy? Like I feel like it sold fine. Well, no, because it wasn't around very long, was it? No, that's bullshit. It was around quite a bit. It had a good lifespan. So why? White peeps hating on the faux E. The art was also super cool. Oh man, how satisfying is that hot core of color? That is just, oh, so nice. Now, I don't think that these two use the same magic, you know, so we don't just want the exact same colors. But this is a start for me to get the colors I want with the values that I want. It's not always just about hue. Sometimes it's about value as well. Sometimes it's about my father, and sometimes it's about my caribou. I love my father. I love my caribou. I love my father. I love my caribou. Yeah, sick as foogity foo, figgity foogity figgity. So here I have a complete accident that I'm going to make into, I'm going to pretend like I know what I'm doing. So it's like the force of the blast won't just come from the gem, it'll come from the staff itself in some kind of cool way here. Get a bit of a Poseidon's trident thing going on here. We got like this glowing staff glowing with power. That is not coming off as a color core, so yeah. I just like that it's like delivered in a non sort of tropey way. Like it's not just a beam shooting out the end of the stick, you know, it's kind of different. He's throwing some shadows off his shattering bones. Plus it gives us that kind of kinetic sunburst kind of John. Begone, vile thing. Bite my butt, skelly boy. Yeah, that's an interesting one. If it was called something besides D&D. I don't know, man. That just like this is where I start feeling all weird. Like I'm kind of on the fringe of the hobby. Is like Eric's words there, you know, like accept, like the fans failed to accept fourth edition. Like, I don't think that way. I don't think about accepting or not accepting a system like a D&D, and it's more just like, well, no, I guess that's not true because I kind of don't really quote unquote accept fifth edition. I don't buy the books. First edition ever of D&D that I've not bought a bunch of books. I think I had 5 books for 5th edition and gave them to the universe. First time ever. Collecting D&D my whole life. It's kind of crazy. But, you know, times change and like the people that are into it and stuff change, and that's totally okay. I don't think it's something to flip out about it. Everything's fine. All right, so I'm just basically doing some homework here, making sure I'm crossing my T's on filling in this main fill color, just this kind of beige. So everybody in the piece isn't going to be beige, obviously. It's just the color that stitches them together. And look, there's like, what's fun is there's slightly different hues of this color. Like this is a slightly brighter hue. Because those sort of color concept tests are where I just use a gradient tool. So it gives us some of these interesting, slightly different colors. Like, look, you can see it right there. Hopefully you can. I don't know. I don't know how good your video quality is. It might be horrible. Yeah, like great little value changes there. That's nice. Oh man, looking killer. So, okay, so if it's 2 o'clock, I have done 4 hours now on the piece. So I'm going to start to get toward the higher budget area, and I don't want to break my customer's bank. So I'm kind of need to think hard about how to get her done. I do think the piece holds. I don't need to like bail and rethink it or anything like that. I do think it's going to be cool enough. But yeah, we definitely will want more CETA. That's CITA, crap in the air. I think that's a Michael Bayism. You know, just those little dudes, and then clean up some of this little slop work. Yeah, this is dope. I'm feeling it. Let's do a couple of skin tones. So I know that this guy is, you know, kind of an exotic character from a desert nation. Give him a nice rich skin tone like that. Yeah, looking cool. And that's all you see of his skin because he's got gloves on and all that kind of stuff. Like there's really not a lot of skin in this image in general. Okay, so now we have somewhat stereotypical skin for Paladin. I'm gonna get too pink with it. You know, it's this kind of certain Persephone kind of concept. You know, it's that glowing Neutrogena skin. All right, then we've got our sickly whiz. So a good way to do sickly skin is it's kind of desaturated, but we don't want to get into like, you know, metal territory or anything, metallics. So you just take that beige color and just work up from it. And there he has, see it gives you that nice result of like kind of odd skin, like a bit of a pallor, if you will. Yeah, that's killer. And then she needs another color and blah de blue de blue. And then there's our fighter. So I feel like barbarians are often like tan Northmen, right? So not swarthy per se. Well, that's a word you don't hear much anymore. Not necessarily swarthy, but a tan guy, Mr. Tan Man. Like that's not quite it. That could be it. That's nice. It's not very far off from the beige, so it's going to be not quite as bold as I would like. Got this neck showing through here, some fingers, some muscles. Yeah, that's cool. That's a start. just skin tone is an important way to start anchoring it in and feeling it. And you know, if you're wondering like, wow, this feels kind of flat and it feels kind of Technicolor corn dog, there's a lot of tricks you can do at the end. Wait, a lot of tricks that I do at the end of my pieces. Like here's the colors flipped 180 degrees. And you can do all kinds of interesting things to basically break up color and texture, like doing this. And then you can add filters on it and all kinds of other things and get that final like sort of textural element that makes a piece look finished. Because this feels so, there's no texture to it. Another way you can do it is just a second here. Let's get a good one. Let's get a good one. Let's get like a all right. So check this out. Here's a kind of a crazy trick that I'll do sometimes toward the end of a piece. I'm not really there yet, but this is just a photo of rusty metal. And I'll do something to that effect. So it's just an overlay of rusty metal. It texturizes all your colors, and then you can tune from there. Like, see, there's all kinds of options I can go through here as far as what this look will be like. So that's kind of how I'll bring it into to finish at the end, is a series of techniques like that. But for now, just got to get the color all blocked in. Ow. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, you guys only see, there we go, my Photoshop stream. And is it like terribly laggy? I feel like it's laggy. Oh, wait, do you see, no, okay, cool, you only see that. Yeah, screen sharing, you know, I really miss the days of just Google Hangouts. Sound like an old person, but that just worked. The frame rate was good. Also like the XSplit days, you know, like, of course I did have like a Juggernaut PC that I was using to run XSplit, so I don't really have that anymore. And I'm going to get out of here pretty soon. I'm running out of time. And if you keep an eye out, I will post this up when it's done, so you can see it on probably on Twitter or on my Discord or somewhere like that. We'll get some get the hype train rolling for Blood and Gold. Blood and gold. I live a life of blood and gold. Blood and gold. I live a life of blood and gold. Oh, gold. Blood and gold. That's right. Back in my day, we walked uphill to be on Google Hangouts. Blood and gold. Oh, blood and gold. In my day, we had Google Hangouts. And we like to play a rousing game of blood and gold. Gold. Why? Why am I so stupid? All right, so here we go. We got some little patterns going here. Not sweating it too much, whether I'm inside the lines, just letting it happen. Cool. Maybe this whole fold on his robe has that. Cool. That's dope, man. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling that blood and gold. Blood and gold. Hey, blood and gold. Wait a minute. I might. What? Oh, it's just a slightly different hue of black. That's crazy. I like gold and I like blood and I like blood and gold. Oh, I like gold and I like blood and I like gold and blood. Oh, blood and gold. There we go. Did I fix it or not? Did I fix it or not? I don't know. Did I fix it? I don't know. Leave me alone. You are not my gardener. You are not my gardener. Yeah, later, Eric. Peace. I'm about to get out of here too. I'm going to finish this up in privacy. In the privacy of my privacy. Privacy, privacy, privacy. You have the manners of a goat, and you smell like a dung heap, and you've no knowledge whatsoever of your potential. Now, get out. He's a swarthy fellow, isn't he? Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. It's fun. It's fun. It's downright fun. If you don't think this is fun, you're nuts. Out of your dang mind if you don't think this is fun. I got some skeletal cleanup, but usually what I'll do here to kind of move to the final step is I will step away from this piece for several hours or even a day, and then come back and like see it with fresh new eyes and slam it into finish mode. So on that note, oh, there you are. That's it. It's old buddy Hanker and Fernail here. I'll see you guys online, and keep an eye out for the hard suit recap. I might just do session 2 and 3 in one big recap, since sessions 2 was a little bit short. And don't ever hesitate to email me, and I will see y'all on that internet. Happy Monday. I'm out.